Hey folks, welcome back to another edition of Play Branson, where you get to know Branson's entertainers better. My name is Chris Meyer, and I'm here today with my guest co-host, Lane Victoria. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderfully, thank you.
So you made it back for the second episode.
Yes.
So we didn't kick you out yet.
Thank you for that.
Yes,
I appreciate it.
So you're doing good. Today is November 1st.
Yes.
And so that's
an exciting day in Branson.
It's an exciting day in Branson. So this is the start of our Christmas season here, and lots of Christmas shows are opening, and also Christmas drive-through. So I know the Branson Gift of Lights down by the charcoal plant opens today. If you haven't been there, you need to go check that out. And then, of course, I think you said maybe the show you're in at the Ball Knobbers is opening today as well.
Yes, we're opening our Christmas show this evening, and a whole lot of shows in town are opening for Christmas.
Yeah. So if you haven't been to Branson during Christmas, you got to come. It's one of the top Christmas vacation destinations in the country. Okay, I got a few dumb questions here this week.
I love dumb questions.
So here we go. Or things that make you go, But why do we say something is out of whack? What is a whack? That's a good one. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that.
That one may keep me up at night. Honestly.
Why do overlook and oversee mean opposite things? Okay? Can I yell movie in a crowded firehouse? That's pretty dumb. Why does Hawaii have interstate highways? That's a good one. And then, what was the best thing before sliced bread? There you go. I don't know.
There were no great things before sliced bread. Zero great things.
That's good. Okay, of those things, which one is the dumbest? Which one do you think is the dumbest? I think it's, can I yell movie in a crowded firehouse? That one to me is dumb.
Who hangs out at the firehouse? Do you hang out at the firehouse, Chris?
I don't. I wouldn't yell movie there. It wouldn't make any difference. Tell folks who our guest is today.
Today we have Jon Sousan from the Tribute Theater.
So, and he's doing a lot with the shows, and so I'm anxious to hear his history. It's his first time on the show. And so, folks, we'll be back in just a minute. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss this next episode.
Christmas season is a perfect time for family traditions, and Branson's Gift of Lights, Branson's all-LED Christmas display drive-thru, is a great way to create those lasting Christmas memories. This year, discover new LED Christmas displays and an amazing new tunnel with state-of-the-art lighting. Santa loves these lights and will be there many nights. Branson's Gift of Lights is located just north of Sight and Sound Theater on Expressway Lane, open nightly through January 1st. Visit BransonLights.com for more info.
Hey folks, welcome back to Play Branson. Today we are here with Jon Sousan with the Tribute Theater. Fire? No. Oh.
Movie.
There you got that. I got that. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes. That was good.
Interrupted the flow, didn't I?
That's good. That's okay. I got it. But you are at the Tribute Theater, and you have 3 shows there, which we're going to talk about later. But I do want to mention them here at the very beginning, because you have CCR, which is
Creedence
Clearwater Revival.
It is early.
Yes, it is. And then you have the Eagles tribute show, and then you're doing another one.
It's a Southern rock show that features Southern rock bands, Skynyrd, ZZ Top, Allman Brothers, a lot of things like that. It's pretty fun show.
Okay, and we'll talk a little bit more about those later, but let's go way back, because you have a long musical history. And so talk about how you kind of got into music, and just take us down your career path.
Well, started at a young age, and God-given, I recognize that right off the bat, pretty much. And just kind of nurtured that, and didn't really get serious with it until I was in the service. And then I got in front of people over there in Germany when I was stationed in Germany. And it kind of wet my whistle on performance and trying to take it a little serious, And from that point, I went back to some of the garage band people that, that I'd been associated with as a kid, and just to see if it was something that was for me, And lo and behold, that's where it started. And even more serious than that, I started to go into college. I had a GI Bill, so I went to college at Arkansas State, and majored in music and
Okay.
production.
Wow.
And studied under some really serious people. Jared Spears was like the head of the department and very respected countrywide. So, and that was in the beginning when we were just talking about technology, how things that are, the iPhone can do, things that a $250,000 camera used to be able to do back then. But, we had a thing called a Fairlight, and this thing was, zillions of dollars, Now you can pick one up for $25 at a pawn shop, But that wet my whistle, and I started learning things like MIDI and different technologies that brought video, audio, and lighting, all three elements into one computer, and so I'm a tech head in that way, and it facilitated me to be able to pull off productions that are pretty unique, So that's kind of my start. Taking it a little bit further than that, my choice is do I want to be a recording artist, which I did in the 80s. I transferred from the garage band after I became a Christian in the mid 80s, and I started traveling with Christian artists, and I was very, very involved in that, and was on label. I don't know, I think you and I had talked about
We
that
did,
before.
yeah.
Had a great time doing that, but my choice was, do I want to go to Nashville and try to do the recording arts thing, or do I want to try to find a different avenue for performance? Enter Branson. So I went to Silver Dollar City, of all places. That was my first experience of Branson, and I'm sitting in Echo Hollow Theater, and they had back then, you're talking almost 20 years ago, and all they had was the really deep country, and production was great and all of that, but it was very deep country, not really the new country sound that we have today. And I saw all moms and dads were great. They loved it, but the kids were bored to tears, and the young adults are out there going, So I decided that at that point, if I was going to go performance, I wanted to do something a little bit more cutting edge. And so my choice was Branson. I loved Branson. I love the Ozarks. I'm from Poplar Bluff, Missouri, so it's real familiar. And from that point was born I think I could probably pull something off, at least with my background. And so I made the trip to Branson and started a little show called the 70s Music Show. And this was 18 years ago. And so Branson wasn't quite ready for Styx and Kansas yet.
Right.
So it did well, given what it was, but not enough to to support a family and the families that were involved. So from that point, I just became a freelance musician and was hired by actually the American Idol people when they came to town.
Oh, wow.
And from that point, at the same time, simultaneously, there was another group that was trying to start the Eagles show, and they were having a little bit of trouble getting into the Branson 101 stuff, as we call it.
Right, yeah, there's a little education for people.
You bet.
Yes.
So, but I was a little bit more familiar because I was plugged into a lot of local musicians and stuff like that. And I got the opportunity, I got a call, do you want to get involved in something that is basically dissipating, because they were going to call it quits. The musicians of that show called me up and wanted me to try to stoke it up. And I had a little business sense and some background in production and all of that, so that's how it all developed. And here we are, 7, 8 years later with the theater, and that's kind of the same ideas of the tribute idea. It started with the Eagles, and then listening to our crowd base and our demographic, they wanted more. So we developed the CCR and tried a little of this, a little of that. So that's where we are today.
Do you have a musical inspiration that you feel like is your heart? Is it the Eagles? Is it CCR? Is it kind of a combination of all of them?
Well, I was never really, this is going to sound funny, I was really never an Eagle fan. And I got this opportunity and became an Eagle fan. But mine go a little bit deeper. I have roots in performance. Once I was in my rock and roll bands from the early days, I was more tapped into bands like Grand Funk Railroad, and then it progressed into the 80s with like the Dokken and the Night Ranger and all that stuff, which I got opportunities to actually go on the road with them. And so I was doing that in St. Louis, Missouri, and it was fun, but it wasn't me. They, if you can imagine being in crowds of several thousand people and they're ushering you with the police escorts, but then I'd go back in the back room and all they had was just scads of liquor and drugs, and then they never had the money to pay me, pay me as a musician. But that's all they had to offer. So I became a Christian, and my heart just knew. I from a very early age, I knew that wasn't me, and so I turned my life around and started doing my Christian music. And it was a tough choice, but that's kind of to answer your question. Yeah, that's my inspiration, and it keeps me going, even though. Quote unquote secular music that I'm doing now, I have an opportunity every show to be able to share my faith too. So, which I do.
Well, and that's one of the unique things about Branson is that people are not afraid to talk about Jesus from the stage, and you don't see that anywhere else in the country. And I think that's why a lot of people like Branson, because it is about God, family, and country, and we're proud of those things. So. Every once in a while I'll hear someone say, man, someone didn't like what I said, but you know what? It's a free country, and that's the beauty of it is,
That's right.
as if you own the theater, you can say what you want from your stage.
I don't think there's been one experience when I do this announcement of who I am during our introductions of the band, and I kind of save it for the last, and I tell a little bit of my background, and I interject, but never once have I ever had a negative connotation with that.
Yeah.
It's always been people coming up afterward going, right on, man. I'm glad you did. That's awesome, man, that you're able to do that. And so that keeps encouraging me too to keep on sharing. And I think that's important, So
That's awesome. Okay, folks, we'll be back, and this is a great stopping point. We'll be back in just a moment, so stay tuned.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need iBranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at iBranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. iBranson.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to Play Branson, and we're here with Jon Sousan from the Tribute Theater. And Jon, you kind of gave folks your history, really interesting history. You've got a lot of really performing background, and you've kind of done in different genres and everything. And so talk a little bit now about the Tribute Theater itself, and then talk about each of your shows that you have there.
Sure. Well, the Tribute Theater, first of all, it's located catty-corner from the Titanic. If you know where the big blue building is that houses Domino's Pizza. And we also have an 80s sales shop there on the other side of us. But we took that building, and I think there were like 5 different strip mall, long, thin type things. We pretty much gutted it. And when we first started, we had folding chairs, 1 disco light. Our sound system sucked. But now it's built into, I kept putting back into it. And now I think it's revered as one of the better productions in town, actually. And it's in a small space. I didn't want to build anything big. I'm a purist when it comes to, what we can offer the public and what the actual demographic that's showing up to see what we're doing. So we built a theater that houses 185 people, and it's full every time we open the doors for this type of music. So, yeah.
So talk about the individual shows. Like what can people expect, and what are they?
Well, the Eagles, we have a big LED screen behind the band, and there's LED panels everywhere. So we have an opportunity to show video and clips of the actual performers during our performance. Plus, they do a little bit of snippet interviews and things like that. They'll have things to say, and maybe even introduce songs and things like that. But those are all, and we play those behind our performance. And with our technology, we're able to actually sync their lips up to our lips, kind of deal. And so
that's pretty cool.
And all the lighting is that comes from my college background and being able to do that. So. And the lighting is all, synchronized as well. So with the Eagles, we do, of course, all of their hits, and they've had a huge amount. We don't have near the time that we would like to be able to perform all of them, but it's a 2-hour show with a small break in between. And CCR the same way. We have it's presented in the same vein. However, we change the set and have actual amplifiers that they used in CCR at Woodstock and all of those shows, and we put those in as a display on the stage.
And so what are some of the hits of CCR? Like if someone's, what would...
Geez, there's so many of them. Well,
Freedom.
Freedom, there you go, Freedom.
They have, Bad Moon Rising, that's the name of the show. Fortunate Son was there was a big interest in that just a couple of years ago. And in which we do a segment where we actually honor the Vietnam veterans in that show. We felt like they didn't get the proper welcome home, so we do it in our show.
And Branson has been really good about welcoming especially the Vietnam veterans. We've done a lot of events over the years for them.
But those are those two shows, and then as far as the production is concerned, we're really proud of it. I've put a lot into that part of it as far as to try to give a 110% presentation to the visitor, and it's done in a very classy way. We pay very, very close attention to the albums that were cut, and we emulate the musical guitar licks, the harmonies, all the things that go along with those recordings. We emulate that on stage.
And you have a live band.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then you have a third show.
Right, the Southern Rock Show. That's it started out as the Leonard Skinner and Southern Fried Friends. That's kind of what we named it at first, but we didn't know if people would even remember who, our demographic in Branson is in a, it's a very a wild mix. It reminds me of the Chex Mix. You got pretzels, you got, this, you got that, and that, so you don't know who's going to respond and who recognizes the names.
Right.
Once they get in there, you always find out that, I knew every one of those songs. I just didn't know that was the band or that kind of stuff. So, but we're proud of that show too.
Okay.
And,
Tell people time. Can you tell people times for them?
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. for the Eagles show.
Okay.
Tuesday, Thursday at 8 p.m. for the CCR show, and at 2 o'clock on Sundays we do the Southern Rock tribute.
Okay. So you're doing what? Is that 6 days total?
Mm-hmm. 6 days a week.
6 days a week, and then when do you start and when do you finish throughout the year?
Well, this year, uniquely enough, we started in February. I didn't know that it was going to be any good or not, and man, they came by the droves. So we started in February, and we'll end up in the first week of December. We'll cut off. Then I get to go on vacation.
There you go.
I'm going on a cruise.
That'll be fun.
With my 82-year-old mother. Last time we were out there, she ran over these, the white coats. There was like 4 or 5 of them lined up, and she just plowed them, man, with her little go-kart deal. I thought it was fun.
So at the end of the day, you've been able to kind of create your own unique little niche here in Branson, and to me, once again, it's for people that think Branson is just country music. You dispel that rumor, and there's nothing wrong with country music.
No, I love it.
But there's so much more to Branson than just country music.
Yeah, I think I tried to give a genre of music that would be appealing to, let's say, the 35 to 40-year-olds. This is the way we started out. We ended up getting the 70-year-olds because, they were only 30 years old when the Eagles were popular. So, boy, man, now they're coming and that's a timeless band. So everybody that's 25, 35, 45 years old now, they're also tapped into the Eagles.
Yeah.
So
I've had a lot of people come into Mel's Hard Luck Diner, guests of Branson, who are so excited when they hear that there is an Eagles show, that there's a CCR show, and they just rave about it because they are used to
there's not a night that goes by that they aren't on their feet and cheering and just yelling to beat the band. I'm telling you, they really respond to it.
Yeah. So do you feel like the crowds are a little more peppy at your show than maybe some?
Yeah, and we're loud, and I'm proud of it. We like the energy. We keep it. We're very, very versed on what level of sound is because we have meters back there, but we do like energy to where you can feel it. And some of the people that come to our show are on their feet going like that, and then unfortunately they'll go to the bald knobbers and go, oh, they're too loud, you know. They just, there's that stigma. It's just that they can open up, you know, and have fun at our show, you know. So I don't know. I guess it's just the way we present it, you know.
Yep.
So.
Okay, folks. Here's the deal. If you want to go rock out with Jon here, go see him at the Tribute Theater, located really right on the intersection of Highway 76 and 165. Like he said, catty corner across from the Titanic, right next to Domino's. So, hey, go to Domino's, grab some pizza, go over to the show and rock out. And Jon, we appreciate you coming to the show today. It was
Yes,
great
thank
talking to
you.
you, great getting to know more about you. And folks, we'll be back in just a moment. Hey folks, welcome back to Play Branson. We had a great entertainer with Jon, a lot of history, and he's doing kind of some unique stuff here in Branson, which is cool.
Yes, and people love what he's doing too.
Yeah. So we have in 2 days, well, wait, 3 days, no, 2 days, Saturday, whatever, Saturday, November 3rd, Silver Dollar City is opening right around the corner. Be sure to go check out 6.5 million Christmas lights. That's coming up.
Yes, and also on November 3rd, we have the Charlie Daniels Band at the Mansion. And we also, on November 4th, have Winona and Big Noise at the Andy Williams Theater.
So lots of big entertainers coming into town. And then one of what I'd call our resident performers that doesn't always perform in Branson very often, but lives here, is Tony Orlando. And he'll be over at the Mansion on November 6th. So Tony, great to have you back in town performing. And then right after that, Neal Mccoy is going to be over at the Mansion November 7th and 8th. And if you haven't seen Neal Mccoy, you know, he kind of reminds me of Clay Cooper, because they're both great, just entertainers, great rapport with the audience. Love Neal McCoy and other folks.
Yes, and then we have Mo Bandy and T.G. Shepherd at Dick Clark's on November 11th. And on November 14th, we have Crystal Gale at Dick Clark's as well.
Yes, so lots
big
coming
names
up.
there.
Yeah, so we always like to tell people about the special entertainers that are coming. But folks, we have tons of shows that are here every day, every night. And we want you to be sure to check those out as well. But sometimes it's harder for people to know about the one-off dates. And so that's why we like to let you know about that. Now, our next show, you're not going to want to miss this next show. We're going to have Andy Parks and Shannon Thomason from Grand Country's Comedy Jamboree, and those guys are nuts. And so it's going to be a good show. I'm hoping it is. You never know about Andy, what he's going to do. So, folks, thanks for watching. If you haven't been to Branson, Missouri, you got to come and use the folks at ibranson.com to help plan your trip. You can either go online, you can book your shows, you can book your attractions, or if you want to talk to a local expert, call 1-877-ENTERTAIN. Those folks will help you out. You can get Jon's shows there, as well as all the main shows and attractions in Branson. Until next week, have a good one.